Madam Vice President, I have to ask you about I think the point, the part of your book that has people most upset thus far, which is some of your writing about the decision around the president abandoning his reelection campaign, the timing there and how it was handled. You say in part, page 46, it's Joe and Jill's decision. We all said that like a mantra, as if we'd all been hypnotized. Was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, I think it was recklessness. The stakes were simply too high. This wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego, an individual's ambition. It should have been more than a personal decision.
She's blaming Joe Biden here for dropping out of the race, but in reality, Joe Biden didn't want to drop out of the race. Joe Biden thought he could actually win the presidency. But the polls were showing that Donald Trump was obviously the favorite to win that election, and it was probably going to be a landslide, even though it was a landslide against Kamala Harris as well. But that's beside the point. That wasn't on Joe Biden. Nancy Pelosi and a crew of the Democrats got together and pretty much threatened Joe and pushed him out of the race because they thought he had no chance. That is what happened. And it's kind of funny seeing Kamala Harris actually throwing Joe Biden under the bus when all she did was throw Joe Biden under the bus the entire time. When all Joe Biden did was actually, elevate her to that position. That's what I meant to say. Joe Biden elevated her because she wasn't qualified. Remember, when she ran in 2020, she dropped out before they even got to her state's election, the primary election for the Democrats. She had her one moment of limelight when she attacked Joe Biden, basically called him a racist. And then, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Tulsi Gabbard proceeded to destroy her. Then her numbers started dropping, and she dropped out of the race. And then Joe Biden pulled her out of obscurity and made her his pick. And that's the reason why she became vice president.
Whose decision should that have been? How should that decision have been made?
So when I write this, it's because I realize that I have and had a certain responsibility that I should have followed through on. Which is, and so when I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself. There was so much, as we know, at stake. And
it's kind of crazy seeing her. She's trying to take her time and think about what she wants to say because she's known for the word salad. And even now, without her, with her trying not to have her little word salad moment, she's still kind of, you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? But I guess once you see it, you just really can't unsee it. She's just not skilled at this. I really do not understand how she became a lawyer. How does she present herself in front of a judge when all she does is go around in circles? Kamala Harris should have never gotten to the point that she got as a politician. I'm going to just be honest with you.
As I write, the where my head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving.
If you said to President Biden that you did not think he should run again.
Yeah, or even that he should question whether it's a good idea. But I think that, one of the reasons I wrote this book, Rachel, is there are actually a number of reasons. One that it is unprecedented, right? To your point of what you said in your opening, we had a president of the United States running for re-election. 3.5 months from the election, decides not to run. The sitting vice president enters the race against a former president of the United States who's been running for 10 years with 107 days to go. And it ended up being the closest presidential election in the 21st century. And there was so much about those 107 days that, for me, and this is really a behind-the-scenes look at those 107 days, was about seeing people who seemingly had nothing in common coming together by the thousands with a level of optimism and, dare I say, joy about the possibilities for America. And I hope to remind people about that light that people brought to it, and to remind people that that light is still there. And we can't let that be extinguished by an election or the individual who's in the office right now. Because to the point of all those folks who got out and protest about the Kimmel suspension.
And about everything else that people have protested.
Right. In the variety of ways, whether it be going to a protest or being, with their pocketbook or getting engaged in local and state and federal elections, they'll make a difference. And they've made a difference. And I guess the last point is that we've got to really remember that this person who's in the White House promised a whole lot of people who supported him and voted for him that he would do one thing, which is bring down costs and prices. And he lied to them. And we need to remember that as we move forward with the next series.
He didn't lie. He's been bringing costs down. You know who lied for 4 years? You Democrats told people that it was a lie. Inflation wasn't real. The prices weren't going up. It was transitory. It was all in your imagination. You ignored the people. You tried to gaslight people. You told people that things that they could see with their own eyes weren't actually happening. And you're going to sit here and lecture Trump about what he's doing in office? While you guys did nothing but destroy the country and open the borders for 4 years? And scolded Americans that were complaining about how tough things were getting? Okay.
Elections and midterms are around the corner. That it's not just about him by himself. There were others around him who perpetuated that same promise and have not followed through. They're about to go into negotiations around the continuing resolution, the budget. And I know that leaders Schumer and Jeffries are going to meet with the president, I think in the Oval Office. And good for them to go there and ask Donald Trump, the president of the United States, to justify why he is proposing to cut Medicaid, why he is willing to shut down the government for the sake of putting on the backs of working people the tax cut he gave to the richest people in America.
Do you think that
You guys put illegal immigrants on the hotels on the backs of the taxpayer? Are we supposed to forget about that? That you were putting illegal immigrants in hotels while you have homeless Americans? You gave a fuck about people that weren't from here. You gave more of a fuck about people that weren't American than you did about actual Americans for 4 years. And Trump cutting Medicaid is for people who aren't supposed to be on it. Not for your grandma or your grandpa.
let me ask you a politics question. I mentioned in the intro tonight that you say in the book really bluntly that your personal first choice for your running mate would have been Pete Buttigieg, and you praise him effusively. You say he would have been an ideal partner if I were a straight man. And you say effectively that demographically it was too much to ask of the American people to ask them to elect you with him as your running mate. I wonder if his reaction to that, since this part of the book has come out, if you've had any reflection on that, or I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump who knows no floor, to be a black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk. No matter how,
Some may not like this opinion I'm about to have, but I 100% agree with her on this. I don't think that people are ready for Buttigieg or whatever. And not because he's a shit politician, because he is, but because he's gay. And I don't think he would ever garner that level of support from the black community, which is the Democratic Party's largest voting bloc, in my opinion. I just don't think he would have had it. I think a lot of black Democrats would have probably sat out or maybe voted for Trump, because he was another one that ran and he didn't make it past Iowa. Or I don't know if he made it past. I forget. It's been a while since those elections. But yeah, I honestly don't think that the people were ready. Not because she's a black woman, because again, this is all about the Victim Olympics or whatever the case may be. But because I don't think that the American people will ever elect an openly gay man for president. And if it happens, we're just not there yet. We're not there yet, and it'll be a long time before they can do it. But effectively, she's throwing Pete Buttigieg under the bus, and she threw Joe Biden under the bus. And the Democrats are finished, man. And word salad, I could only take so much of the word salad from Kamala Harris, so we're going to cut it there. I want to know your guys' thoughts. If you guys want to watch the full interview, it's on the MSNBC YouTube channel. Just look for it. It's not that far down, so you can hear the word salad for yourself. That's all I got for the video, guys. Let me know your comments in the section. Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. And if you have anything you want me to react to, my email is in the description box below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.